grab a line, you come out, you throw out.
How often do you come out per week, per month?
Anytime I get.
Yeah.
Usually time I get, I come out.
And what do you do with all the fish that you caught? Like today you already have 8. What are you doing?
Well, we eat, we sell, we give.
Yes. Eat, sell, give.
Right.
Good. Very good. What about family in Nassau? You send to them?
Send, yes.
Yeah. A lot of meat.
What do you order, Brian?
We then cleaned our barracudas and filleted them. I didn't do too badly.
No, looks like a
Animal bait.
Huh?
You want you could blow them out.
Okay.
You find more bait.
And that's fillet.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Good afternoon of fishing. We all left satisfied. That's our show. We hope you enjoyed it. Join Island Life for more on the people, places, and things that make island living that one-of-a-kind experience.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the nation's chief sending out a stern warning to Shantytown residents across the country. The premier of Turks and Caicos hosting a reception for the Grand Bahama TCI diaspora this past weekend. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. Topping news tonight, the nation's chief, the Honorable Philip Davis, warning Shantytown residents across the Bahamas to find alternative housing. During his address to the nation on Sunday, PM Davis said his administration intends to hold accountable the network of people who help make these shantytowns exist. Our Raven Davis joins us live in studio with the details. Raven?
That is right, Simone. Amid a growing immigration crisis fueled by the political and economic turmoil in Haiti, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis updating the nation on government's policies concerning irregular migrants and shantytowns. He says government has made it clear to the international community it stands on the issue, which is that this small nation is incapable of shouldering any new burdens despite external pressures.
Our country has been through a lot. We have very serious challenges and limited resources with which to face these challenges. We are a compassionate people, but we cannot take on new burdens. That is why last June, at the Summit of Americas held in Los Angeles, I declined to sign a pledge that included a commitment to take on refugees, while 21 other countries in our hemisphere, including fellow Caribbean nations like Barbados and Jamaica, signed on to this agreement.
Advocating for collaboration on a sustainable solution to the crisis in Haiti, PM Davis says such decisions are made for the benefit of Bahamians. He touts government success in their repatriation efforts last year and announced the formation of Operation Secure, a security operation between the Immigration Department, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force, launched immediately following the lifting of a Supreme Court injunction barring the removal of shantytowns.
The operation is focused on identifying irregular migrants, documented migrants, and Bahamians living in these communities, and addressing their status in a comprehensive and coordinated manner. We cannot have shantytowns on our islands. They are unsafe, a hazard to public health. They are against the law, and they directly impact our way of life. Our priority is decisive action based on the laws of our land.
He says government is taking decisive action to enforce the law.
Documented migrants living in unregulated communities will be required to relocate at their expense or their employer's expense or face repatriation. And any Bahamian citizens found to be living in these communities will be required to relocate.
Landowners and businesses bolstering shanty towns will also be held accountable if found in contravention of the law.
Operation Secure targets those entering our borders illegally, as well as any Bahamian citizen or legal resident who is breaking our laws. If you are a crown landholder who is unlawfully leasing land, you will be prosecuted. If you are engaged in human smuggling, you will be prosecuted. And if you are employing migrants illegally, you will be prosecuted.
The nation's chief asserting a zero-tolerance policy for those breaking the laws and reveals a commitment to ensuring the successful execution of Operation Secure. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Thanks, Raven. Well, following the Prime Minister's charge to Shantytown occupants during that national address last evening, our ZNS News team speaking with residents today to hear their views on the immigration issues in the country and the Prime Minister's warning to illegal migrants. Here's Ramiko Knowles.
Bringing an end to illegal landing has been a challenge for administrations over the years. This as the number of undocumented people in the country has been increasing. The nation's leader, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, during a national address, made remarks noting that the government is working assiduously to address those issues. While tonight, residents in Grand Bahama are weighing in on those remarks.
I think those remarks are very much appropriate at this time.
Remarks made by the nation's chief are well received by resident Jeffrey Allen, who says that for far too long, the issue of illegal migrants have plagued the country. And if the Bahamas is to remain viable as a sovereign nation, the laws should be upheld.
I think most of us would agree it should be done humanely. It should not be targeting any one group in a discriminatory fashion. We want to make sure that law is being upheld dispassionately by the authorities. We want to make sure that things are done in an orderly way, that those who have a legitimate claim are not kind of caught up in the mix.
Haiti has declined into chaos since the president's assassination in 2021. Thousands set out on the sea in unsafe boats in search of a better life in another country. A large number end up in Bahamian waters. Haiti's violence and hard living conditions are said to be some of the causes for the mass exodus. While some say it is a sensitive matter that should be handled humanely, others say the Bahamas cannot afford to bear that burden.
I'm not against the Haitian like that, but we need some clearance on that. We need plenty clearance on that for me and your children, for our grandchildren. They will have no place if it continue to be. Where they can go to school, still getting populated. People, the little children, I'm telling the teachers them now, it's more on us than y'all. What type of foolishness is going on in our land? I a little emotional when it comes to that. But Christ, I put him voice, and I sure my brother, he can intervene.
The Prime Minister stated that undocumented migrants will continue to be processed and repatriated, noting that it is already underway and will be greatly expanded in the coming days and weeks. Patrick Pierre says a zero-tolerance approach is required.
I feel personally that it's been going on a long time. Me, myself, my parents are Haitian, but they came at the right way about 60 years ago or so. And I feel that it's about time to crack down. We don't want to just hear you say it as far as to appease people publicly, but we want to see action.
The Prime Minister says his administration understands the critical importance of immigration action, and they are overseeing concentrated strategic efforts to take this problem on and mitigate the economic, social, and environmental harm done to Bahamian communities. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Ramiko Knowles.
Thanks, Ramiko. Switching gears now, the premier of Turks and Caicos, the Honorable Charles Washington Mizik, touching down on Grand Bahama this past weekend to host a cocktail reception for the Grand Bahama TCI diaspora. The Turks leader addressing attendees and extending an open invitation for those within the diaspora to return to their ancestral roots. Our Aja Quant was there and has more in this report.
Scores of persons within the Turks and Caicos diaspora gathering here at the Grand Hokkaian Ballroom for what they call a significant event. Premier of the Turks and Caicos Islands, the Honorable Charles Washington Mizik, extending a welcome hand to those persons, noting that they can return home at any time. Premier Mizik has returned to Grand Bahama for the first time in 30 years and claims that a lot has changed since then. He adds that he is surprised at the number of persons turning out for the diaspora reception and says their government remains committed to working with the Bahamas government to continue building a stronger relationship between both countries.
The truth of the matter is the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands are not only neighbors, we're friends, and we are relatives. The bloodlines are very close, and I'm discovering that more and more as the relationship is deepened.
Her Excellency Anya Williams, the Deputy Governor of the Turks and Caicos Islands, also expressing gratitude on behalf of the TCI government for the work and assistance they've received from the Bahamas government. Both Premier and Deputy Governor says their country is doing well. However, they believe it can be better if persons with roots from the country can be at the forefront of that growth.
We are embarking on major change in the public service and in the private sector. There's a number of projects in the pipeline, and we're encouraging as many persons that would like to return home and to be a part of that development.
I don't want to intrude on the good will of the Bahamas, but I made a joke to my Bahamian political colleague the other day and told him, if you don't behave himself, I'm going to take all of my people back home.
Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, also in attendance expressing her delight for the visit, adding her excitement that both countries remain strong partners, particularly because of the rich history.
On the island of Grand Bahama, the plan to develop and establish our nation's second city would not have been possible without the contributions of the many Turks Islanders who were recruited to join the workforce, which was spearheaded by the architects of the city of Freeport. This evening's reception in honor of the Turks and Caicos Islands diaspora honors the legacy of the Turks Islanders who labored beside Bahamians to build Freeport, and the countless others who contributed their efforts to the development of islands throughout the Bahamas.
Premier Mizik says the TCI hospitality sector is growing and there are hundreds of jobs in the public sector. However, housing remains an issue in the country, but an open invitation for those with ancestral roots remain. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
Meanwhile, many persons within the Grand Bahama Turks and Caicos diaspora attending the reception say the event was very engaging.
It was extremely encouraging, the opportunity to go back home to your ancestral land. It was more than we could ask for.
They introduced everyone, the ministers, the delegation. Everybody was very informative. They were very helpful and informative, and they really gave us a lot more to look forward to.
Andrew Forbes, who holds belonging status in TCI, boasts about the long-standing relationship between Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas.
I do see the benefit in strengthening the ties between both countries and looking at trade opportunities and employment opportunities across the board. So it's an amazing initiative, and I'm excited about it.
In news from the crime beat, there were 2 separate incidents on Abaco over the weekend as police confiscated suspected marijuana and arrested a 28-year-old male of Dundastown for possession of suspected marijuana on Friday, February 17th. In the first incident, shortly after 7 p.m., officers attached to the Marsh Harbor Police Station visited a residence in Dundastown where a male was searched and found in possession of the drugs. The weight and value are unknown at this time, and police investigations continue. And in the second incident, shortly after 7 p.m., while conducting patrols in the area of Sims Way, Murphytown, discovered a black backpack which contains suspected marijuana. The weight and value are unknown at this time, and police investigations continue. And when we come back, we get candid with the mastermind behind the ZNS Network documentary, The Other Side of Suicide. We have that exclusive when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues.
Pizza Hut Freeport has a super delicious super deal. Now you can order 2 medium one-topping pizzas for just $19.10, VAT inclusive. Choose your pairs with any one topping and crust, pan or thin, and satisfy everyone. Excite your taste buds with Pizza Hut's 2 medium pizzas super deal. And save. Available for carry-out, curbside, pickup, and delivery at Pizza Hut Downtown, 352-9191.
The ultimate brunch full buffet is back at Portobello's in the Grand Lacayan Hotel every Sunday from noon until 4 p.m. Call 373-1333 for more information.
It's the coconut got this, cocoa skin driven madness, juiciness ice the this, sweet like the sugar in a dripping like ice honey, I think all of my love me, sweet like the sugar in a
beers with a kick of rum. Make it platinum.
Come and see the cabinets and countertops in stock now at Specialty Kitchen and Bath, number 16 Oak Street, phone 688-9661.
It's that time again. Buy your tickets now for Mr. Lucky's Big Raffle and win. Win one of 2 cars, a brand new 2023 Toyota, large cash prizes, a brand new PS5, and more. Enter today by going into your local Chances store and either depositing $20 or more onto your account or buying $20 or more lotto tickets. Tickets available until March 1st. Winners announced March 4th. So hurry into your local Chances store today. You gotta be in it to win it. Winners take chances. Chances remind you to game responsibly.
That's what I told her. Bring the winding thing here. This is Reagan script, so show me emotion. Hey, wine and go down low.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number 1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Tonight, the ZNS Network will premiere a documentary about the global issue that is suicide. After extensive research and investigation, our Northern Service senior reporter Remiko Knowles takes a deep dive into the prevalent issue of suicide. This as he speaks to a survivor, a victim, a psychiatrist, and a religious leader. Remiko also sat down with us to share exactly what inspired him to produce this documentary. Take a look.
Every 11 minutes, someone dies by suicide.
911, what is your emergency?
Suicide, it's a very prevalent issue, but also a sensitive topic to talk about. What provoked you to do a documentary on such a topic?
Life is not easy. We're just good at pretending. I think we have learned to desensitize ourselves to a lot. And I understand that there's a thin line between seen and unseen, that there are people walking among us every day who appear to have it all together on the outside, but are one bill away or one tragedy away from losing their minds. And those are the things that I wanted to bring to the light during this documentary.
Why do you think suicide has become such a taboo topic in today's society?
Because we don't fully understand it. We don't understand what drives a person to the point of taking their lives. We don't understand mental health, how important it is to take care of our mental health. We don't understand it. And so we don't talk about it. But for those who do understand it, those are the ones who are constantly bringing this to the forefront, who are constantly pushing the issue of take care of your mental health, take care of yourself, go to therapy, get counseling. Those are the ones who are constantly bringing this issue to the forefront, but it has become a taboo topic simply because many of us don't understand it.
During the production of this documentary, what is one moment that stuck out to you most?
When you're sitting across from someone whose child took their life, your journalism skills are of no value. They don't care how well you speak, how well you write. It doesn't matter. In those moments, I had to take off the journalism hat and become an intercessor, praying for these people. I had to become a comforter, a counselor. Those are the moments that I don't take for granted.
If you could say one thing to someone who's either battling suicide or now on the other side of suicide, what would you say?
That this is not the end. That wherever you are in your life, whatever it is that you're going through, it's not the end of your life. It's just a moment of it. We understand that after the rain, there's the rainbow. After the fire, it's pure gold. So no matter what it is that you're going through, at the end of it, it's going to be beautiful. But you have to choose life.
And for those who will be watching the premiere tonight, what is one thing that you would want them to pay attention to most?
Pay attention to people. Pay attention to the ones you think have it all together. Pay attention to the ones who seem strong, your neighbors, your co-workers, your friends. Pay attention. One of the things you'll hear ringing throughout this documentary is checking on people is not enough. It's now time for us to show up. It's now time for us to do more than we're doing, because statistically, it is growing. We just don't hear about it, but it's happening among us every single day. So the message behind this entire documentary is not to encourage suicide, but to prevent those who are considering it, but also to help us who are seeing this issue every single day, but are ignoring it. Pay attention.
The Other Side of Suicide documentary will air following the National Report tonight at 8 p.m. Well, Grand Bahama Health Services hosted their children's mini dental health and screening fair over the weekend. February is observed as National Children's Health Month by the American Dental Association. For 30 years, Grand Bahama Health Services have conducted community events in Grand Bahama, and Dr. Catherine Adderley says this event was a first.
This is actually the first time we've had all the dental practitioners on the entire island, public and private, come together in a great partnership to help the kids. We saw, for our first effort, we saw well over 100 kids today. They were really excited. They were really engaged. The parents were really excited and engaged to come out. They got checkups, dental screenings to assess for any problems. They got a lot of oral education, giveaways, and tools that they can use to keep their kids healthy for life.
According to Area Administrative Manager Adelicia Campbell, the COVID-19 pandemic put a pause on some of their services and noted the importance of getting the youth back on a regular schedule. Meanwhile, Dr. Janai Lowe of Sunrise Smiles says she was happy to provide some dental education.
The children are our future, and so of course, you know, they have to go to school every day, and so you don't want to interrupt those services. We do have school health, but you know, this is a little more intense. It's getting into your mouth, seeing what's going on.
So many times people don't know certain things about baby teeth, like you have to floss the teeth. It's not just about brushing. So it was really an educational outreach as well. Let them know what's going on, tell them what they have to do, and hopefully we have future ones that we are actually able to give treatment. But this is a start, right? And we want to do a few more throughout the year.
Your Monday check on sports is next with Shane Stubbs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and this is your update in sports. We had a very, very busy weekend, so let's dive right into it. The Grand Bahama Track Classic lived up to its name. It was a full day of track and field events as athletes looked to qualify for the upcoming 50th Carifta Games.
We want the best for out the country and all the islands.
so we could have the best Carifta ever for the Bahamas.
We've been known to do well in Carifta from many, many years now, and I believe the trend will continue.
It was a windy day, so times will need to be ratified. Nevertheless, Aiden Kelly of Golden Eagles and Andrew Stiles of 90 Degrees each met the Carifta qualifying standard in the 100 meters. Kelly dipped below the standard of 10.93 seconds, clocking 10.81 in the heats, while Stiles dipped below the standard of 10.60 seconds with a time of 10.55 seconds.
The push forward for the Carifta Games, gotta stay focused, gotta stay locked in.
I know I could hit around the Carifta standard, and I just happy to hit it.
Zion Shepherd, Abacos, Quincy Penn, Michael Stiles, and Phoebe Thompson put on stellar performances, but narrowly missed the qualifying standards in their races.
Hopefully, I qualify before Carifta Trot, so I wouldn't have that much pressure on me.
Now that I finally come out here to trial for it, I feel like I have a good chance.
I just come back now and just ready to get that time and follow my meet.
I could have had a better start, which probably would have brought down my time.
The athletes still have the Carifta trials to look forward to on the road to the 50th Carifta Games. Next in sports, the Tabernacle Falcons are senior boys champions of the GBSSAA Obie Wilshcombe Derek Nesbitt High School Basketball League after defeating the Sunland Stingers 2-1 in the best 2 out of 3 series. Here's Falcons coach Kevin Clark on the win.
A walk. Straight up ball down. But we just wanted it a little bit more tonight. We have a young team, talented team. Be ready for whatever obstacle is ahead of us.
MVP Aiden Miller finished with 16 points as the Falcons won Game 3, 56-46. Now the Falcons, Stingers, St. George's Jaguars, Jack Hayward Wildcats, BMES Warriors, and Study Hall Knights are set to compete at the Hugh Campbell Tournament in New Providence, which tips off this evening. And lastly in sports, scores from the GB Little League. In the Coach Pitch division, the MSC Red Sox defeated the FES Predators 15-13. The Buccaneers then defeated the Lions 11-1. In 10U action, Fortune 360 got over the Lions 16-7. Bahama Rock then blasted the Buccaneers 12-5. And in 12U action, the Red Sox defeated the Lions 7-5. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your update in sports. I'm Shane Stubbs. Be safe and be great.
Thanks, Shane. It's now time for Health is Wealth Mondays.
Did you know that many cancers can be prevented? Obesity, which is excessive weight for height, is a common risk factor for most cancers. During your annual physical, your vitals are taken and BMI calculated to determine overweight or obesity. Your doctor also screens for cancers based on your age and gender. For example, women may be screened for breast, colon, or cervical cancer, while men will be screened for prostate and colon cancer. Unfortunately, not all cancers can be prevented, but if diagnosed early, you have a greater risk of cure. Having a healthy diet, restricting alcohol, not smoking, avoiding diabetes, and maintaining a normal weight are some ways to help prevent all cancers. Take steps today to improve your health. Schedule your physical and talk to your doctor about your risk for cancer. I'm Dr. Tiadra Johnson. Remember, your health is your wealth.
New year, new look. No, not you, but your home. Decorative pillows in all colors, textures, and sizes. And if you want to make a statement, pick from over 20 different styles of our 5x8 area rugs. Get cozy in our lightweight comforters. And if you want to switch it up, we have duvet covers in a variety of colors. Decorative pillows from $23.99. Area rugs from $149. Comforters, $29.99. Duvets from $34.99. It's all here at Island Bedding.
Hi, I'm Wes. I like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
John West Shoes is now open. Carmichael West, Nassau, behind Wendy's.
Connaught Bahamas says, can you feel the love yet? And the home enhancement continues with 15% off all in-stock cabinetry, white shaker, Swiss chocolate, Ovaltine brown, and Hello Milo for the entire month of February. Now is the time to upgrade or modernize your kitchen or bathroom with quality cabinetry from Connaught Bahamas. 4 locations here in Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Our lives are full of action. Hey, babe.
From the studio to the video to back home.
All while balancing family life.
BTC Fiber Internet is our solution.
BTC is best for us. Hello?
With fiber, we save more on fast, reliable internet. And we can prove it.
Go to BTC's website and compare for yourself.
Select your current product, price, and location.
You'll see how much you can save with BTC.
Link up with better value.
Link up with BTC.
When I found out I was pregnant with Hello, I was pretty happy because that's my first time going to be a mother. The baby's heartbeat. She did end up swallowing some of the fluid, and she had the cord wrapped around her neck 3 times. I'm not the only mom that goes through this.
My experience that took me to Mount Sinai Hospital, where I had open heart surgery. Everywhere they could have put a tube in my body, there were tubes.
Because many times for patients that we transfer to other countries, to other islands, it's a big problem for the family, for the community.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Delphine Campbell, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We also want to wish you a happy birthday from the team here in the North, and we hope you enjoy. We also want to send a special happy birthday to Dorothy Lightborn. We hope that Rick ensures that you enjoy. But before we leave tonight, we also want to remind you that the documentary, The Other Side of Suicide with Rumiko Knowles, will premiere immediately following the Bahamas Tonight at 8 p.m. tonight. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, the troubling Shantytown debate. PM death threat suspect charged. New amendments to Consumer Protection Act. And in sports, Hugh Campbell tourney is back. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Shantytowns have had a long history in the Bahamas, but its prolific growth has given rise to serious concern. The focus of a full day of debate in Parliament, a follow-up, some would say, to the Prime Minister's 15-minute national address last evening, during which he spoke of the importance of stabilizing Haiti and why assistance to that strife-torn island nation be carefully and strategically carried out. We also heard of the burden the Bahamas has carried for decades and the launch of Operation Secure to more effectively tackle this complex and delicate issue that many agree will not be solved overnight. Our Jimenita Swain picks up the story from here.
Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Philip Davis, in his national address Sunday, detailed government's new immigration plan to fix this dilemma.
Operation Secure is a collaborative security operation between the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Defence Force, and the Department of Immigration to address security and migration-related issues in unregulated and unlawful communities. The operation is focused on identifying irregular migrants, documented migrants, and Bahamians living in these communities, and addressing their status in a comprehensive and coordinated manner. We cannot have shanty towns on our islands. They are unsafe, a hazard to public health. They are against the law, and they directly impact our way of life.
This now means undocumented migrants will continue to be processed and repatriated. Documented migrants living in unregulated communities will be required to relocate at their expense or their employer's expense or face repatriation. And any Bahamian citizens found to be living in these communities will be required to relocate. Prime Minister Davis warned the network of people who make shantytowns possible that they will also be held accountable.
Through Operation Secure, we will prevent the exploitation and abuse of migrants by unscrupulous landowners and businesses holding accountable those with a reckless disregard for our laws. Operation Secure targets those entering our borders illegally, as well as any Bahamian citizen or legal resident who is breaking our laws. If you are a Crown landholder who is unlawfully leasing land, you will be prosecuted. If you are engaged in human smuggling, you will be prosecuted. And if you are employing migrants illegally, you will be prosecuted. We will have a zero-tolerance policy for anyone seeking to break or circumvent the laws of the Bahamas.
Prime Minister Davis admitted that illegal migration has presented some very serious challenges that must be addressed with limited resources, but there's only so much that can be done.
We are a compassionate people, but we cannot take on new burdens. That is why last June, at the Summit of Americas held in Los Angeles, I declined to sign a pledge that included a commitment to take on refugees, while 21 other countries in our hemisphere, including fellow Caribbean nations like Barbados and Jamaica, signed on to this agreement. I declined. Our small nation cannot possibly shoulder any more of a burden. We are standing strong on this position. Despite pressure earlier this year, when the United Nations called for countries in our region to halt deportations to Haiti, once again, I decided to continue repatriations.
That decision, he declared, was made for the benefit of all Bahamians and future generations. The Bahamas, he maintains, is for Bahamians and those who follow the law. And as a government, it simply cannot afford to open its borders. It's the reason why government's pushing Haitian-led solutions to mitigate the ongoing crisis. And the Prime Minister also used the opportunity to list for 2023 that 1,024 persons have been repatriated. Last year, 4,478 persons were repatriated, which, according to the Prime Minister, is the largest number in our country's history. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Jiminita Swain.
Well, Immigration Minister, the Honourable Keith Bell, was tight-lipped today when asked how soon shantytown structures will be demolished, noting that he did not want to overstep his bounds. Still, he says the Operation Secure initiative has already begun. Furthermore, Bell offered up this advice to residents still occupying these unregulated communities.
Based on the Prime Minister's statements yesterday, that they would begin looking for alternative accommodations. And of course, let me indicate that this is not an unsympathetic government. And so therefore, we have the Department, the Ministry of Social Services. On several occasions, we have persons that have lost homes, and any number of reasons, we would have rendered social service assistance. And so I would ask those persons, that is the Bahamians living in those communities particularly, that if you need assistance, then please reach out to the Ministry of Social Services.
On that note, once demolition begins in earnest, Housing Minister, the Honourable JoBeth Colby-Davis, fully expects government agencies will collaborate to secure housing for displaced Bahamian shantytown dwellers.
I think it'll be similar, probably the deliberations, let me say that. The deliberations will be similar to what we would have done when we were trying to assist the families in Abaco. So that is a cooperative effort between the Office of the Prime Minister and Social Service and Housing and any other ministry that the Prime Minister or Cabinet deems fit to work along with, making sure that we assist those persons, those citizens who would be in need. I'm not certain I would say that the bulk of the responsibility would be on housing.
The minister also spoke to the likelihood of the government constructing affordable apartments in the case of communities like Abaco, where housing is in short supply.
We haven't really thought about the apartment complex to expand beyond what already presently exists in New Providence. There are a lot of discussions that are happening now with me and other ministers of housing across the Caribbean. I know you saw that there was some CARICOM officials here last week. One of them is Maria Brown, who's the Minister of Housing in Antigua and Barbuda, and we've been sharing ideas. So I'm trying to get a little bit more understanding of how other countries have been expanding their housing portfolios to assist greater communities, larger communities.
Meantime, the Prime Minister secured the full backing of his party following his announcement of Operation Secure. Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell says immigration matters require serious, rational and sober leadership, adding that these are the traits the Prime Minister is providing on immigration and other issues impacting the public. Mitchell's statement urges Bahamians to support the initiative, adding that citizens must play their part in conducting lawful business with migrants in the Bahamas. The party further encourages law enforcement agencies to continue with their efforts to guard the country. Well, opposition leader and Marco City Member of Parliament Michael Pintard is of the view the Bahamas faces a small window of opportunity to address several critical issues facing the country, many of which he said are taking place simultaneously. Zooming in on illegal immigration, Pintard reasons that this has been allowed to mushroom, the result, he said, of the failures by governments to address the matter comprehensively. Pintard went on to caution that the failure to seize this moment to make critical changes may lead to deeper consequences that could further damage the quality of life throughout the country. Pintard's calling on the government to act now and implement a comprehensive migration policy on multiple fronts.
The Bahamas is at a crossroad. This Parliament has a chance to rise to the occasion and in a bipartisan way chart a course that comprehensively addresses the complex and deeply troubling problem of illegal immigration and irregular migration. We must not end this debate without arriving at a shared approach to tackling a familiar challenge that ordinary approaches have failed to alter. It cannot be business as usual. We must send a clear message, Madam Speaker, to the public that our approach from this day forward will be fundamentally different, and it would be sustained and results-driven. And our work will be transparent, and the policies we pursue will be evidence-based.
Well, disappointed. That's how former Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Dr. Hubert Minnis, summed up his reaction to his successor's national address Sunday. The former Free National Movement leader says they were listening for more, but the content was inadequate. And this particularly given the Shantytown injunction was lifted more than a week ago.
The injunction has been lifted. We wanted to hear timelines. You can now go in. You can proceed as or continue as we had done. In the case of Abaco, there was one entrance into Shantytown. We were manning those with police and defense force. We were putting within the Shantytown itself mobile police stations so as to deal with that. Individuals entering the Shantytown, you obviously would have had access to them. So you knew who were legal and who were not legal. Those that were illegal, you could have dealt with. Those that were legal or here for a long time and is allowed under the law to be regularized should be regularized.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
From the the youngest among us to the oldest gems, heart disease has touched many lives. And while cardiologists are doing their best to ensure these victims remain alive, nonprofit organizations are also doing their part, drumming up funding to secure the best treatment possible. Join me, LaDon Davis, this month every Friday for Chambers of the Heart.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country, pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Our lives are full of action. Hey, babe.
From the studio to the video to back home.
All while balancing family life.
BTC Fiber Internet is our solution.
BTC is best for us. Hello?
With fiber, we save more on fast, reliable internet. And we can prove it.
Go to BTC's website and compare for yourself.
Select your current product, price, and location.
You'll see how much you can save with BTC.
Link up with better value.
Link up with BTC.
Because they were on sale, Keisha bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? Come and satisfy that hunger at KFC before doing something crazy. Snack Box for only $5 with a piece of juicy KFC fried chicken, creamy mashed potato, and a buttery biscuit. A finger-licking good deal.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
A field day for the opposition, who was given the opportunity to ask the government questions in the House of Assembly. Our Carla Palmer tells us what came out of the back and forth that dominated much of today's morning session in the lower chamber.
Some answers by the government were readily forthcoming, like it cost the government $18 million in its annualized additional incremental cost associated with labor agreements since coming to office.
We honored our commitment to public sector employees when we came to office, and we brought much overdue relief to scores of workers, including teachers, nurses, doctors.
While some questions were answered, others were regarded incomplete, not fully understood, or missing relevant information, and either went without a warranted or detailed response for reasons like
personnel matters are confidential and private, and they will not be discussed without the leave of the individuals.
Member of Parliament for Marco City, Opposition Leader Michael Pintard intimated, providing more details in hopes of getting the answers he was seeking, only still to be put on hold for the next question and answer session.
One of the matters that have been raised publicly and was referred to by the member is the case of Janet Russell from the Ministry of Labor in Grand Bahama, who was in fact redeployed. That is one of the matters that has already been in the public domain, and if you can just speak to that so we can get a clearer understanding. The Chair recognizes the Honourable Member for Golden.
Madam Speaker, now that you've presented the name, I will come back with the facts on that matter.
While the Minister for Transport and Housing, MP for Elizabeth, JoBeth Colby Davis, responded to questions of her portfolio, Pintard thought her responses did not answer any of the questions. In another instance, questions were asked of the wrong minister.
As to any and all questions relating to McKinsey & Co., I am unable to provide any information, as this matter is not under the carriage of the Office of the Attorney General and is currently in the purview of the Ministry of Finance.
This response by the Member of Parliament for Centerville, Jomo Campbell, prompted this reaction from colleague MP for St. Anne's, Adrian White, followed by Government Leader of Business, Obi Wilshcombe.
If the member from Centerville is not the honourable minister that this question relates to, which he clearly knew before he came here, the House shouldn't have its time wasted by an individual standing up and saying it's not me.
Madam Speaker, the rules are very clear. The members put a question to the honourable member for Centerville. Yeah. Having put the question, the member must answer. It is the responsibility of the side opposite to determine who and which ministry one represents.
The question and answer session in the House of Assembly is reserved for the second Wednesday each month. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
While also providing answers today, the Prime Minister shared why the Procurement Review Tribunal, as required by the Public Procurement Act, has not yet been established.
No prospective vendor has brought forward any complaint to be considered by the Procurement Review Tribunal. As a result, the government, mindful of the new Procurement Act, has not appointed a Procurement Review Tribunal. The second question, which follows from the first, who are the members of the Procurement Review Tribunal? Well, please see the above. In other words, the responses contained in the first answer.
Well, Prime Minister Davis added that in short order, the government will provide summary details consistent with contracts awarded in the Procurement Act.
The Ministry of Finance, in conjunction with Go Upon Fire, is finalizing the report listing contracts awarded by the government. We aim to have the first edition published in due course. Which specific agencies, the second question, which specific agencies are compliant? All ministers, departments, and agencies will be fully compliant. Which agencies are not compliant? The answer is above.
Public Works Minister, the Honourable Alfred Sayers, today refuting the claim Bahamas Power and Light is using operational revenue to cover the company's increased fuel cost.
The company is not using operational revenue to cover the increased fuel costs. The company has an accrual that has built up with the supplier due to the actual costs outpacing the fuel charge collected.
Sayers went on to explain how the government will recover the fuel charge expended.
The fuel charge under recovery will be recovered via the recently implemented glide path recovery mechanism, which will be used to pay for current and overdue balances to the supplier. What the government has done is to top up existing facilities to BPL. I'm referring specifically to the 2019 and the 2021 loans. These loan facilities provide BPL with additional cash to meet its obligations. The arrangements of these loans are the subject of ongoing negotiation between BPL and the Ministry of Finance.
From the courts this evening, at the very least for the next few days, Isaac Joshua Roberts will spend time on remand at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. This following the young man's not guilty plea to the charge of threats of death in a magistrate's court this morning. Court dockets note that Roberts unlawfully threatened Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis with death with the intent to put him in fear. A bail hearing is set for Thursday, February 23rd. Roberts' arraignment follows a 58-year-old man being detained following a death threat against the Prime Minister earlier this month. Well, it's off to the slammer for a 23-year-old man accused of attempting to kill another. That's Finlayson Street resident Lamar Miller, charged with one count of attempted murder for allegedly attempting to cause the death of Timothy Stewart. The 23-year-old was not required to enter a plea and was remanded to B-Docks. He returns to court on Tuesday, June 13th for service of a voluntary bill of indictment. In overnight crime news, a traffic stop leads to police discovering illegal firearm and ammunition, subsequently arresting 4 men. Police say the discovery was made shortly after 2 a.m. when officers in the Duke Street area stopped and searched a black Nissan March with 4 male occupants who were all taken into custody. A spate of armed robberies also keeping police here in the capital busy. The first around 7 Sunday morning at McDonald's Madeira Street. Police say a purple Nissan Cube drove up to the drive-through window. A gunman then climbed through the window, pointing a gun at a cashier who fled. Another employee reportedly struck the armed assailant as he attempted to remove cash from the register. However, the suspect managed to escape with an undisclosed amount of money. Later that same day, after 1 p.m., 2 masked gunmen entered a Jamaica Road business and demanded cash. According to police, the manager gave the 2 an undisclosed amount of cash, after which they made off in a dark-colored Nissan Cube. In yet another incident around 4:30 p.m., a masked gunman entered a Burnett Road business and left with an undisclosed amount of money before speeding off on a motorcycle. Police are appealing to anyone with information on any of the matters to call the Criminal Investigation Department, and that's at 502-9991-243. We can also tell you tonight that the search continues for a 17-year-old male who escaped the Simpson Penn Center for Boys this past weekend. The Adelaide resident is believed to have escaped his quarters between 6 p.m. Saturday and 7 a.m. Sunday. Now, anyone with information on his whereabouts is again asked to call the police, and that's again at 502-9991-203 or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. An early morning smash-up ends in death for one New Providence driver early this morning. The incident occurring after 1:35 a.m. in the area of East Street. Police say at the time, the male driver of a white Honda Civic lost control and hit the wall of a business establishment, seriously injuring himself in the process. EMS personnel arrived on the scene and confirmed the victim had died. The matter's under active investigation. Consumers, look out, as new laws to protect your interest could be on the way. The relatively good news given by Minister of Economic Affairs, the Honourable Michael Hakitas, at a 4-day national training forum for the Price Control and Consumer Affairs Inspectorate. Speaking at the forum's morning session, the Economic Affairs Minister foreshadowed that amendments to the Consumer Protection Act are in the works. He says the idea is to strengthen provisions for consumers.
Still in draft form. We're going to go. We're in the process of now approving, not necessarily only increases in fines, but just being able to have more services covered and give people an opportunity to ensure that, when they're spending their money, they're not defrauded or they're not given substandard service and have no avenue other than, for example, going to court to be able to have their grievances heard. But just basically, improving the options and broadening the options for consumers who feel that they're being disadvantaged to be able to complain.
And to that end, Price Control and Consumer Affairs have also engaged a number of new officers and inspectors to carry out their mandate. The department, following training, is also expected to be on the receiving end of some technology upgrades to assist in their work.
We expect to, over the next 4 days of this sort of in-classroom, so to speak, as well as field training, we'll be able to get some feedback from those who are on the ground as to how we can improve our enforcement mechanism, how we can improve our collaboration with the business community to ensure that our regulations are respected. So we have a full house. We think that this training will inure to the benefit of the public because it better equips our inspectors who are out in the field to ensure that our regulations are enforced.
Well, still in the Economic Affairs Minister, the Honorable Michael Alkitis is defending new business license requirements in the face of criticisms from some in the business community and now the opposition. Former State Minister of Finance, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, has called on the government to end the practice of requiring business tenants to get real property tax information from landlords, arguing that it is not a tenant's responsibility. While firing back, Alkitis insists new business license requirements are a marked improvement over the Minnis administration's approach, going further to accuse the previous administration of refusing to grant business licenses unless tenants agreed to pay the real property tax for the landlord, something he says the then minister was charged with enforcing. Alkitis reiterated that the Department of Inland Revenue is just asking business license applicants to provide either a real property tax assessment number, or if the tenant does not have or cannot secure such information, provide the name of the landlord and the location of the premises being rented while the department does the required due diligence. The minister says, by and large, applicants have been complying. Well, now time for the weekly poll question, and this week we're asking, do you believe Bahamians are xenophobic? Yes or no? To participate, simply log on to our website, and that's www.znsbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. The poll's final results will be aired on Friday, and as always, thanks for participating. The Bahamas Tonight returns after this.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
The Ritz-Carlton Evrima graced our shores with their inaugural voyage, and the islands that they will be frequenting will be San Salvador, Bimini, and also Long Island to start with. So they're sailing throughout the islands of the Bahamas. It's a cross between a luxury yacht and a cruise line. Not too small, not too big, but with passengers that want the luxury type of experience on board a vessel. The vessel itself holds 300 passengers, and these are visitors that are going to have a unique, cultural, authentic experience throughout the islands of the Bahamas. In the Bahamas, we promote the 16-island destination, and it's important for our visitors to have the ability to explore these islands. And the partnership with Evrima gives us the ability to have a Bahamas cruise throughout the islands of the Bahamas, Bimini, Long Island, San Salvador. So we're excited about it. They're able to experience our culture, our history, the authenticity that each island has to offer. And then also they can return to New Providence, which is our capital, and enjoy our Bay Street and also the cruise port that's on the way. So I'm excited about that. The visitor experience determines whether or not our guests come back again. And cruise in the Bahamas is really big. 5.4 million last year, 5.4 million in 2019. And when they grace our shores, we want to all ensure that they have an authentic experience and want to return again.
Our free pick, pack, delivery service gives everyone in the Family Islands a chance to shop a variety of club products and prices right from home. Simply call or WhatsApp your order to 242-677-7266 or email order@amlfoods.com. A friendly customer service representative is waiting to pick, pack, and deliver your order to the mailboat of your choice. The options are truly endless, and with membership you save even more. So order today and let CostRite pick, pack, and deliver right to you.
Global Learning Exchange can help make your education dreams a reality. Enroll now, and your first course is complimentary. Sign up for a free information session today to learn more.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love.
Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
A royal return. This time, the UK's Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, and Fofar and his wife, Countess Sophie, will pay a 2-day visit this week. Their Royal Highnesses are expected to attend the Gold Award ceremony for the Governor-General's Youth Award. Prince Edward also chairs the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award Foundation that has funded 5 special projects here in the Bahamas. While here, the royals will meet with volunteers and participants of GGYA. The royal couple arrives in the Bahamas on Thursday. Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
That work? Can you see me?
Yeah, it's working. This is super cool. Are you gonna help me clean up your toys?
Delivery.
Be right there.
Hello?
Am I gonna get it or are you gonna get it? I'll get it. I'll get it. Hey, thank you. Come on.
Hey, can I help you? Hey.
No, sorry, I'm not home. I'm coming.
Almost every journey starts with your car. We spend most of the early stages of our lives anticipating getting our first set of wheels. When that moment finally comes, let AID be there for all your auto needs. Make it yours by accessorizing, maintaining, and repairing your car with AID. Whether you're a professional mechanic, a recent graduate, a full-time mom, or an I can fix that kind of guy. Or if you're completely clueless about what your car needs, AID will assist in providing a large variety of auto parts, a diagnostic center, and great customer service. For all life's auto journeys, we're here. AID, all you really need and more.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
For donors who wonder where their dollars go and who they help, in Exuma they need only look as far as the school bus that proudly bears the name Ellen Coakley High. Sponsors, supporters, and riders who participated in the 2022 Tour de Turquoise raised more than $100,000 to pay for that bright blue bus that has been a student body game changer so students can participate in extracurricular activities. Among other causes, the event has helped purchase a bus for the local hospital, revitalized local basketball courts, sent children to camp, and created a cycling club for students. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, McKinstry. We're under mostly cloudy skies. Temperature at 78 degrees. The relative humidity 63%. We have southerly winds at 11 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,019.4 millibars. That's 30.10 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 79 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Toll Key, Marshall, Babico at 77 degrees. The Berry Island, 79. Alistown, Bimini, 78. In Harbor Island, 78 degrees as well. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 77. Black Point, Exuma, and Camp Space, St. Andrews at 78. Fresh Creek, Central Andrews reporting 79 degrees, 76 in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, Georgetown, Exuma, 77. 78 in Rygat Island, Clownstown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands, Matthew-Town, Inagua, 79. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 78 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Ball, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the Northwestern Islands tonight through tomorrow, southwest winds at 12 to 18 knots, the wave heights just around 3 to 6 feet over the ocean, so clusters flags are in place. High tide will take place at 8 o'clock tonight, with another high tide at 8:26 tomorrow morning. Now for the central and southeastern islands through Tuesday, easterly winds at 12 to 18 knots. The wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean, maintaining that caution flag. And then as we take you into Wednesday, middle of the week, the winds become southeast at 10 to 15 knots, so we see a reduction in those winds. The wave heights subsiding 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. High tide takes place at 9:14 in the morning, with a low tide at 3:33 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Wednesday, southeast winds at 12 to 18 knots, and the wave heights 3 to 6 feet, so those caution flags will remain through Wednesday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Go to a party, come back with a hickey. You say mosquito, do that. Conchita, that be no mosquito. It was something bigger, girl like smell a rat. Something just ain't right. That be no mosquito bite.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Big 14s get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Wednesdays just got a whole lot better. Introducing Whopper Wednesdays at Burger King Nassau. Get a flame-grilled Whopper for only $5.50, including VAT. Yes, you heard that right. This Wednesday, you can indulge in the classic flame-grilled Whopper you love, made your way for only $5.50. Stop by your favorite Burger King Nassau location this Wednesday and enjoy a Whopper for only $5.50. Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
24 teams, 4 pools, 1 championship trophy. Will the C.I. Gibson Rattlers reign supreme? Or will the Charles W. Saunders Crusaders get in their way? Or will Sunland Baptist defend their crown? Or maybe will a Family Island team pull an upset? Tune in to ZNSO Sports for all the highlights of the 2023 Hugh Campbell Basketball Classic, February 20th through the 27th. Don't miss it on the only station that matters.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Monday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles. After not taking place for nearly 3 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Hugh Campbell basketball tournament is back and bigger than ever. This morning, organizers holding the official opening ceremony at the AF Adley Gymnasium. Dozens of students packed the facility and were treated to several amazing cultural displays. Officially opening the tournament would be legendary local basketball coach and current Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg, who gave the youngsters an insight on the origins of the country's premier basketball showcase.
Wanting to recognize the dedication and commitment of a former principal, Mr. Allward Pickstock came up with the idea that we should create a basketball tournament that will be a revenue generator for the senior boys basketball team in particular, but also for the entire PE department. He then take those ideas to Mr. Doug Collins, who was the head coach at that time, and as they would say, history was made, and today we're here to celebrate the 39th annual Hugh Campbell basketball tournament.
Boleg adding that the scenes today certainly reignited an old passion.
A few years back, if I missed being on the sideline, and my reply was always no, I don't miss being on the sideline, KJ. Bowles, I don't miss being on the sideline. As of late of last night, my wife asked me, you don't miss it? And my answer again was no. And then this morning, as I got in the halls of AF Adley, whence it all started for me, I was standing next to Miss Curtis, and as the Tigers students roar, I said, that reminded me about my days as a player, when AF Adley was a senior school and we had a team participating, when we would be the last team getting ready to come in. And KJ, I felt those chills again. And I said, now I miss it. Now I remember what basketball was all about and where the first love came from.
We love full highlights from day one of the tournament for you in tomorrow's Sportscast. Well, it was Championship Sunday over in the New Providence Volleyball Association as 4 teams currently vying for the men and women's trophies. Action getting underway last night at the Anatole Rogers Gymnasium. Opening things up on the women's side would be a showdown between the Lady Panthers and the Johnson Spikers in what would be an intense 4-set affair. Ultimately, it would be the Panthers getting out to a 1-zip series lead, winning 25-23, 25-13, and 25-12.
I mean, we started off really, really well. I thought the energy was high on both sides. We kind of let little mistakes get to us in that 3rd set, which is why I think we kind of dropped the ball there, but then we picked it back up, cleaned things up, and came home with the win.
Tell me a bit about the resolve to kind of, the mental resolve it takes to come there after, losing a set. You feel you should have won to come back and close things out in the 4th set.
Honestly, it just comes down to the entire team because, internally we beat ourselves up on small things. And thankfully we have a team that kind of backs each other up and let each other know, like, hey, one mistake, shake it off. You're 25 points in the game. Just keep going. So that's pretty much, that's how I think we came back with the win.
On the men's side, also getting out to a 1-zip series lead would be the Warhawks, as they would play a tough 4-set match against the defenders. Ultimately, it would be the Warhawks escaping, winning 25-17, 25-22, and 27-25. And several of the country's top bowlers assembling yesterday at the Point to hold a friendly tournament to knock off some much-needed rust, as well as build some chemistry, as the sport has seen a sharp decline in events post-COVID-19.
Really just to get the bowlers together. It's been quite a long time, so decided to just get about 20 of us together, come here at the Point on these 4 lanes and see if we could have some, just some fun, just bring back the game, so to speak, or keep it alive, really. So it's a little tournament, 3 games, scratch. So it's really, first of all, just to get everybody back together and see how everybody's doing. And it's been quite a long time, so it's really just a friendly tournament per se.
And Gardner adding that the future of the sport looks grim locally, namely due to a lack of a proper training facility.
We need a facility. First and foremost, we need a facility. And, we're still hoping and praying that something happens, at least by the 4th quarter of this year, maybe. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's been quite a long time. Once we get, I'm not speaking on behalf of the Federation, of course, but I think we just need some, the way forward. That's all the way forward so we can, quote unquote, plan accordingly.
That's been Look at Your Sports on this Monday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before things get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth. Visit us today. Capital Lumber. Build strong.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom?
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. We realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
Same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases, such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need to help before it's too late, Mom. We can't let it get worse. What can I do? We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in CARI Forum, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
What does disability look like? In a busy airport terminal? At the check-in counter? At security checkpoints? Or even in baggage claim? Passengers with hidden disabilities often go unnoticed. Globally, 1 in 7 persons have some form of a disability. 80% of those disabilities are non-visible. In an airport environment, workers are often unaware of hidden physical, mental, or neurological disabilities that some passengers live with. This can lead to frustration and a less than ideal travel experience. So, how do we make the invisible more visible? At LPIA, we've implemented the Sunflower Lanyard program. The lanyards are visual cues for airport workers to immediately identify passengers who might need additional assistance. NAD is teaming up with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and key stakeholders at LPIA to launch the internationally recognized initiative. We're joining more than 180 airports and 26 countries already in the program. NAD is the first organization in the Bahamas to recognize the Sunflower Initiative. It's a way to show our continued commitment to making LPIA a safe, welcoming, and inclusive airport for all. Passengers needing to secure a free Sunflower lanyard can email sunflower@nas.bs or call 1242-397-8600. For more information, visit www.nassauLPIA.com.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, area of high pressure will remain across the Bahamas, and that will keep some moderate breeze, particularly in the central and southeastern parts of our country. Slight reduction in those winds will take place over the northwest Bahamas beginning tomorrow. Tonight, we're looking at clear, a bit on the warm side with a low temperature just around 73 degrees. And tomorrow, it's going to be sunny to partly cloudy, but rather pleasant with a high temperature of 82 degrees and just a slight chance, a very slight chance of a brief passing shower. 82 degrees will be a high temperature. Extended weather forecast. Over the next several days, we expect a weak front system to move through the area come Thursday, and that could bring one or two brief sprinkles. We'll see temperatures dip briefly in the upper 60s on Thursday night and then get back up into the low 70s on Friday. And as we head into the weekend, we'll see those upper 60s once again. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. And from all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
Feel the temperature rise, storms intensify. It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. As we know